In religious debates, the burden often falls on Muslims to defend Islam as a religion of peace. We hear it thrown around a lot, the statement, Islam is a religion of peace. Then someone else would say, but how can it be a religion of peace if ... So to address this statement, we gotta first look at the actual definitions of the words being used, then compare it with Islam as a religion separate from how an individual who professes to be Muslim might act. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton, and this is a channel where we talk about the different countries, cultures, and people from all around the world. And once again, I gotta make it clear that these episodes that we make aren't necessarily for the people of these particular religions. However, they're mainly intended for people that may want to learn about these religions and have these legitimate questions. So we share facts and information just to open the door so that they can learn a little bit and choose if they want to continue to explore more information. Let's explore Islam, religion of peace. Let's take a look. So the first question is, what is peace? Well, the definition of peace means freedom from disturbance, tranquility, stillness. Now, religion, that's the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods. Now, when we look at the term Islam, the word Islam means submission or surrender. And the word Islam sometimes has different connotations as it's used in the Quran. Like in some verses, there's more of a stress on the quality of Islam as an internal spiritual state. Example, one of the verses in the Quran state, whosoever God desires to guide, he opens his heart to Islam. And there's other verses that link Islam and religion together. For example, today I have perfected your religion for you. I have completed my blessing upon you. I have approved Islam for your religion. Others describe Islam as an action of returning to God more than just a verbal affirmation. So you can't just declare yourself a Muslim, you must now act out being a Muslim. Now, we don't ask ourselves this question, but what does the word "of" mean? So the word "of" is expressing relationship between a part and a whole, indicating an association between two entities, typically one of belonging. And the word Muslim is a person who dedicates his worship exclusively to God, which would then have them follow the religion of Islam. So when we look at all of these words and their definitions, the phrase religion of peace would then mean a belief in and worship of a god that is associated in some way to freedom from disturbance, as well as tranquility and stillness. Now, where did this push for Islam to be called a religion of peace even come from? Islam was first called a religion of peace as late as the 1930s. This was in the title of a book published in India by Ishtiaq Hussain Qureshi. The phrase began to take off pretty slowly, but by the 1970s, it started appearing more and more frequently in different writings of Muslims for a Western audience. So you want to note that the first 1300 years of Islamic history, this description of being a religion of peace didn't occur. It's not found anywhere in the text or the traditions of Islam right up until last century. Now, it doesn't mean that Islam did not promote anything to do with peace. It just meant the label of calling it religion of peace didn't occur really until 1930. Now, of course, there are some Muslims who have carried out the name of Islam in a very aggressive way, just based on their own interpretation and their conscience. However, there are many verses in the Quran like, let religion only be for the sake of God. That's in chapter 2, verse 194 of the Quran. As well as there should be no compulsion in religion. That's from chapter 2, verse 257 of the Quran. Now, at the same time, there are several not so peaceful passages in the Quran. Is Islam a religion of peace? Well, regardless of how you answer this question, there will be someone who contests the answer. It also depends on what measurement you're going to use to determine what makes a religion peaceful or not. If a Muslim says Islam is a religion of peace, well, then there's a skeptic on the other hand that will quote passages of the Quran that do not indicate peace. So how do we avoid this endless debate? Well, in doing research, there is two possible answers that you could look at. One answer could be, yes, Islam is a religion of peace because Islam is a religion in which one can express and experience peace. Now, there's a second response that can be, no, it's not a religion of peace. However, Islam is a religion in which you can express and experience peace. So these answers leaves it up to the individual experience and avoids an argument. You cannot argue a personal experience and a personal expression. That's part of what makes us humans. So trying to prove if it's a religion of peace, it actually limits the scope of the religion. Islam is like all other religions, it's a religion, period. And in the religion, there are teachings that promote peace and other things like love, how to manage money, and so on. And at the same time, passages in the Quran indicate that Islam had non-peaceful occurrences and events throughout history. So what do you believe about Islam? Can peace be found in the religion, or is there no peace at all? You decide. Leave your comments down below. And this is not intended to be an argument. It's intended to look at and examine a phrase and a viewpoint that is out in our world today so that people can actually just take a look and learn for themselves rather than coming to any sort of drastic conclusion. Your voice and your opinion really matters. Join in on the conversation. Also, the link to my personal channel is down below where we talk about more topics like this, where you get more of my perspective. That channel is called FTD Speaks. I'll have that link below as well. So I look forward to seeing you subscribe over there too. And it's been awesome learning with you and exploring this topic, and I can't wait to see you in another episode. Hey everybody, so here's a playlist that we created all about the religion of Islam. We also have different religions that we cover as well. So don't forget, tune into FTD Facts every single day for more educational episodes.